let's go to the
totally
Heisman
agree, yeah.
Trophy. Let's do the Heisman Trophy, because this is the dynamics of this has changed a little bit. The Heisman Trophy winner will be a transfer quarterback. A true freshman will be a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Ooh.
The Heisman Trophy winner will play in the Big Ten or the SEC.
Man. Okay. So the true freshman one, I think you're basically banking on Dillon Raiola, Jeremiah Smith. Am I missing
Cam Coleman,
somebody?
maybe?
Yeah. Transfer QB is not terribly difficult because of, I guess, Dillon, Gabriel, Will Howard. Like, there's enough of those names at big schools that will get enough attention that if they're great, everybody will see it.
But what we don't have this year is that second year in the system transfer. Like last year, the 3 finalists were all second year in the system transfers.
Yeah.
And we don't have the obvious ones of those, like, because that's like Peyton Thorne, Graham Mertz this year. It's not as obvious. Now, the Dillon Gabriel thing, because Dillon Gabriel was one of those guys last year, put up huge numbers at Oklahoma. I assume he's going to put up huge numbers at Oregon. So he could be the transfer QB who wins the Heisman.
Yeah. And they'll have, you go through, there's a million players here to consider, but especially that first half of the year, if you have a signature win before like mid-October and you're at a big place, you're going to be on everybody's radar. So I think the lie is going to be a true freshman being a Heisman finalist, just because I think the barrier for something like that is too tall to do it over 12, 13 games, that it's so obvious you just have to invite this person to New York as a, 17, 18-year-old.
Yeah. I am not above betting on Dillon Raiola at 90-1. Just a few shekels, Andy. Like, just
sure.
Those are tall odds. Or Julian saying at 100-1, maybe Will Howard goes down. I hope he doesn't, but that would be the scenario that would bring that into play. I agree with Dan. I think that's got to be the lie of these 3 things here. The Big Ten and the SEC, it stands to reason, are going to be in the greatest focus this season. Probably will have the most teams in the playoff this season. Lord knows there are enough options at transfer quarterback, like Dan said, but not as many names that we could truly consider for that true freshman as a Heisman finalist.
Is it J.J. Smith, by the way, or Jeremiah Smith?
His friends call him JJ.
Okay.
His
name
name on his birth certificate is Jeremiah.
Yeah.
We have not gotten a ruling from him on what he'd prefer.
Okay.
But the folks who know him call him JJ. So he's going to be really good.
Oh,
that's the one I'm excited about. But the question is, do we figure, like, if he's the difference, if he's the key, and I don't know if that's going to be the case, because they obviously have Emeka Buka still and Carnell Tate. But like with Devontae Smith, we correctly realized in 2020 he was the reason at Alabama. I don't know that we realized that with Kyle Pitts at Florida same year, even though that was also the case.
Mm-hmm.
But Devontae Smith was the reason. And that can happen with a receiver. We just,
Devontae Smith was 4 years in or whatever, though.
Yeah, exactly. And he had led Alabama in receiving the year before, despite other first rounders being in the receiver room.
Yeah.
So yes, it's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out. I think it might be the transfer QB one, might be the lie. Dillon Gabriel is the one that feels obvious there. But you also have a year where you have like Carson Beck, who is a homegrown guy. Garrett Nussmeier waits his turn, takes over at LSU, that sort of thing. So there's a good chance it could be somebody who hasn't transferred yet.
Nico. I'm so
Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.